Alrighty, going to be looking at this iBUYPOWER system. Every time I see the logo, I always think of Thundercats. It's like exactly the same. We're going to ignore this shipping cost because this is just for Canada. This is strictly just for Americans to order. And I have to say, it's actually not too bad. So the only thing that I don't really like about it is the case doesn't look like it has any sort of ventilation to let it in, and it looks like it's glass. So it's not like you can drill holes into it. So I'm not super pumped about that. Like, it doesn't look like it has anything. So that is pretty much the only negative. I don't like it when it has a mini motherboard. It would look better if it actually made it all the way down to the bottom. But that's just my personal preference, not like it matters. But above all, it comes with the i7-9700F, which is a great processor. It is very, very strong. It beats out Ryzen 5 3600 to give you a sort of an idea, and it probably would compete with my i5-9600K with an overclock. And it also has the GTX 1660 Ti, which is pretty much like an RTX 2060 without the ray tracing function, so that is actually a really good GPU, and there should be no bottlenecking from the system whatsoever. 16 gigabytes of RAM. Looks like 2x8 by the looks of it, 2 sticks, so that's absolutely perfect. You could probably hold 240 hertz on Fortnite for the most part, and you'd probably be looking at 130 FPS on Call of Duty, on Warzone, so that's also really good. You get 144 hertz monitor, and be laughing, you can run pretty much every game. The fans look like they're up here, or easy DIY by the looks of it. They look identical to the ones that I have, so I can say that they're actually good. Not sure if that fan is RGB, but at least it's not a stock Intel cooler and actually has a pretty thick rad by the look of it. So that is good. Has a 240 gigabyte SSD, which looks like it's an M2 right there, that little guy, right next to that battery. And a 1 terabyte hard drive, which is pretty good, and you can always upgrade to a 2 terabyte later. So yeah, above all, like, it actually seems quite good. Not really sure how this looks like a glass panel, but it has screws on the back, which is weird to me. Because on this one it doesn't have that. On this video it's obviously not the same PC. It has like a divot coming out of the front, and it also has a liquid cooler. I don't like it when they have the rating, when this rating isn't just for this PC, it's for all of these PCs. So you can't really judge it completely on that. It also looks like you can put fans up top, but at least there's some sort of ventilation up top, so that's good. That already beats the CyberPower i5-9400F and its GTX 1660 PC by a landslide, if that actually would help get some ventilation in. Even if this didn't have holes, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could always use those as intake and then just leave that as an exhaust. But then you're going to get a negative pressure, but at least there'll be some air getting in if these ones really aren't doing much. You can test it out by opening up the side, sticking your hand in, and feeling how much air comes in. You should feel a very steady breeze, enough to, like, make your hand cold. And if you're not getting a very good breeze, it's not very good fans. Now the problem with this PC is in a couple years you will want to get an upgrade probably. Now you're pretty much at the zenith, meaning the top performance you possibly can get out of this i7-9700F, because this motherboard doesn't really support too many chips because it's not overclockable. It is a B365, so that means that there's no point to get a K. You can't overclock. So this is pretty much the top that you're going to go. But this processor should last you years. It's an 8-core, 8-thread. and you can always upgrade the GPU down the road to something better like an RTX 2070 or 2070 Super or whatever the new lineup is with the 3000 series, because this CPU should be able to handle pretty much every single graphics card you can throw at it. So that is good. Yeah. I like how it's got feet, so it actually gets air to the power supply. I couldn't find anything on the power supply what it is, but this thing is $1,000 pretty much on the nose. Let me just get a calculator. Alright, and then we're going to look at this PC part picker that I built. So I picked the exact same processor. I picked out just a cheap RGB cooler. I picked out the, which I think is the best bang for the buck, B3650, which is a gigabyte. Picked out 16 gigabytes of RAM at 3000 speed. Now the problem with the B365, which is this motherboard, is it's locked to 2600. Like it says right here, you cannot go faster than that. So Intel doesn't really get too much of a boost, but at 3000 you do get a little bit of a performance boost. So it is sad that they didn't at least let these boards get to 3000. But for the price of $52, you might as well just take the extra 3000 and let it dial itself back. And then I found the closest M2 I possibly could, 256, and then the 1 terabyte hard drive, and I went with the cheapest 1660 Ti I could possibly get, which it actually is an MSI, which isn't bad whatsoever. I went with a very similar sort of designed case, hidden shroud. It comes with all 4 fans, RGB, and it does allow more fans to be put up top. And it is actually a really easy case to use. And I went with a 600 watt power supply because I have no idea what comes in this other one, and I hope to God that it's at least a 500. But it's $911. But we have to take that 900 at 1130 and add on Windows 10, which is $3.50. $3.50. Plus we have to go back and talk about this keyboard and mouse, which actually doesn't look terrible. It looks like it's RGB, looks like it's almost like a ride design, which is nice, and it actually has controls up top. It's not a bad keyboard whatsoever. It probably lasts you a little while. It looks neat. It doesn't look completely cheap. So I picked out one that was pretty similar keys up top, similar to that, and then RGB mouse. So this is 30.99 plus 30.99, and we get the total of $945. And I believe this has Wi-Fi. Yes, it does. So we're gonna have to also add on a Wi-Fi adapter. And picking out one of these Wi-Fi adapters is pretty easy. I don't like the TP-Link one. I had it. It was absolute garbage. I always suggest picking out one with antenna. This one for $13.99 with 5% off is probably the best. Let's just make it $13.99 though. Plus $13.99. So $959.78. So we can just say $960. So for an extra $40, somebody can build this for you, and you don't have to worry about it. And it seems like they're pretty nice at iBUYPOWER. Like this one person did say a remark that I would agree with. Sorry. Just see if I can find it. It was after he had it together. So I'm pretty sure it's right here.
Your Windows user ID, set up most of the connections on when you first get the machine started up. Of course, you're gonna have to go through and create your Windows user ID, set up some of your personal settings. But after that, there's a couple of things we definitely recommend that you do. First off, we recommend you check all the ports on the PC. That includes the front panel USB, front panel audio, and all the USB and connection on the rear panel, and as many of the display ports on your graphics card as you can. This will make sure that, you know, in the future, if you do need to expand and, you know, add anything, you don't suddenly run into, oh, a dead port or, you know, something that was loose or disconnected. Just want to make sure everything's working right on day one. A lot of people ask us, you know, oh, what kind of software should I download? Actually,
So basically what he's saying is make sure to test the PC. He also says somewhere in this video, I don't want to watch the whole thing, to test out the PC on games you like, try demanding graphics, blah blah blah. Make sure this PC actually works. If there is a problem, their customer service will help you, and if there is something broken, they will replace it. So that is nice to hear, and it doesn't look like they're hiding anything whatsoever. Yeah, I'd have to say that this is actually worth the money. I mean, I don't usually like pre-builts. I usually think you can get a better bang for your buck if you build yourself, but I just don't think you can beat this. Saving $40 isn't really worth it. If you were saving 200, 300, 400, yes, 100% build. It's like build all day. $40, nah. I would honestly consider getting this, and if there is problems, at least you know that they might actually help you, which is cool.